So today we're looking at the ink element, which is letting it flow in your journal. Now for you, you might not want to call it journal. You might sort of balk at the, dear diary kind of element of it. So it can be a notebook. It can be just a piece of paper. It can just be anything that you can scratch a pen to paper on. So, the writing thing isn't so important. Of course, if you'd like to treat yourself, there are some very beautiful journals and things that you can purchase. I've seen leather bound ones that are all, engraved and just look gorgeous. And for some, some people just love that kind of, there's a texture and an element to it that just gives you even more kindness to yourself. It's like a gift to yourself. I love the $3 cheapies from the Rejects shop. They have, like, often I find ones with lovely little sayings on the front that sort of just give me a little bit of a pep. And I also love my journals to be spiral bound so that I can really turn them over and make sure I can write on them easily. I've usually got my cat on my lap, so I kind of rest it on my knee as I'm writing. So choosing your writing paper is the sort of first thing, and then just letting it flow. And there's no set way for you to write stuff out. Maybe it's a reflection on what happened yesterday, or a reflection on something that's coming. Maybe you free write. Free writing is simply the act of letting it be totally unhindered and free, no editing, no thought. It just becomes an act of free write. And sometimes that can be, I don't know what to write, so I'm just free writing this because I don't know what to write. And if I knew what to write, I'd write about this, but I don't know what to write. And it can be just babble, but you're still putting that pen to paper and you're letting thoughts out of your mind. When you're inking, you can also do things like ask your heart questions. Sometimes by putting pen to paper and asking your heart rather than your head, it can bypass the mental filters that we often put on things. For you, it might be a bit of a planning session. Maybe sometimes I'll plan and maybe draw boxes out so that I can sort of see the flow of things. So, it doesn't have to be a narrative as such. And I don't know about you, but I love a good old brain dump, just getting everything from in here just onto a page so that it frees up some mental capacity. It can be very lightening. It's really literally just dumping it out. And then, of course, gratitude. Gratitude, of course, is just such a life-altering thing. The more you practice gratitude, the more you feel good. It's good for your health. It's good for your mind. It's good for your emotions. So, yeah, being thankful for things can be very helpful and part of your inking practice. So I found this quote that I absolutely love, and it says, journaling is like whispering to oneself and listening at the same time, by Mina Murray. So it is, because there's this kind of act that when we take a thought and it sort of almost whispers through our arm and to our hand, and then it writes on the paper, and as we're writing we're kind of reading. So it's an internal reading that we're listening to the words as we sort of whisper them out and they come back in. So I really love this. It is like that. There's this connection through putting thought to paper that is very different from like reading or writing for maybe a specific purpose. Journaling can be more freeing, and it's for you. Like, this is not something that you write to be read by others. Generally it's just for you. So it's just for oneself. And when I was researching journaling, I actually found of quite a few articles that go through literal health benefits, like actual things like, releasing stress and anxiety, lowering blood pressure. There's all these actual health benefits that have been found from the art of journaling. So, I haven't gone into them here, but what I see is putting pen to paper can help you do is just sort of do things like see your thoughts from a different perspective. It's also been shown to sharpen your mind and bring more mental clarity and memory. And it can bring more clarity to maybe concerns or worries or hopes and dreams even, you know, to get a dream out on a page and see it just that little bit more real than what it is when it's just sort of floating around in the clouds of the mind. Once it's on paper, it becomes that little bit closer to reality, because it's physical. It becomes physical. Can also really help enhance mindfulness and present moment awareness, because you have to think of in the present moment to write. It also helps signal your reticular activating system, which we talked about last week. So the reticular activating system is the part of the brain that kind of seeks things out. So when you write down things that you're looking forward to, for example, you kind of more unconsciously, your mind's sort of seeking them out without you even thinking about it. So it can be really a good way to sort of seek out the positive rather than the negative. So that can be really interesting, that your brain is doing different things by putting pen to paper. It can also really help release what's on your mind. You can really sort of let go of worry. It's kind of like you hand it over to actually take it out of here, get it out of the churning and put it to paper so that then you can let it go. Or sometimes you'll see a solution in the paper that you just can't see, like in the mind, because it's all churning around and there's lots of stuff going on. So when you actually put it on paper, sometimes to see that makes it more clear about what it is that you need to go forward with. So it can be very interesting in that way. And tonight we're going to do a lovely little journaling activity called Wouldn't It Be Nice? And it's just a simple way of activating the reticular activation, and also just a lovely way to prompt yourself